Today I will be showing you how to create a basic MLO for GTA 5 using Blender and CodeWalker. First thing you need to do is find a location to create an MLO at. For this video we're going to be using this small garage. Choose basically anywhere. Now turn on the move and select tool and find the building that you're trying to edit. Go to the selection tab and copy the name once you find it. Move this out of the way. This is what we need. So copy the name, go to Tools, RPF Explorer, paste the name into the search bar, and export as XML. Then what we're going to do is open up the YDR, expand this, go to Materials, save all textures, and make a new folder called Textures. Doesn't have to be called this, but it's best. Go on the right here in the Selection tab, copy the YMap name, search it, export as XML. Next, go to the mode selection, change it from entity to collision, select any of the collision boxes, and copy the name of the collision file. Search it and export. Make sure you get both high and normal version of the collisions. One is for player collisions and one is for bullets, so make sure you get both. You don't really need the MA collisions. This is usually just for grass generation, so unless you're editing the grass you don't need it. So that's pretty much all we need. Now we can go into Blender. General tools, I'm assuming you've already installed Solums. If not, go to the wiki on their GitHub. Go to import CodeWalker XML, uncheck these two boxes, and import everything you just exported. Now, as you can see, it's all pink because the textures are not applied. For that, you go to external data, find missing files, and find where you save the files to. And there we go. Now we can position it using the YMap. General tools, YMap tools, import. Import the YMap. Now we can click on the top part of our hierarchy of our collisions and go to collision tools and press center composite and do it on both of them. And now you can see the lines no longer lead to the middle, are properly centered. You can hide your collisions for now. Go ahead and remove. We're gonna just do this door for now. Save this. Now we can go ahead and add a new plane. Do not use a cube. It's a lot easier and more flexible if you use this plane. You're just going to need to extrude it to fit. And what you're going to need to do is, I have an add-on to center the geometry or center the origin, but what you're going to need to do is go to Object, Set Origin, and set it to the center of mass. And save that. Rename your plane to something like Location. Go ahead and select your plane or your location, duplicate it, and move it to the origin. Again, I'm using a plugin to do this, but you can just do it manually over here in the transforms. Now go to your shell at the origin and rename it. Now we can go ahead and create the drawable. Go to Drawable Tools, Create Drawable Objects, and Create Drawable. Make sure you've got the same option selected as here. And now what we can do is copy a couple textures from the model. So apply this texture and then do your normal UV unwrapping. Obviously this is not going to be a good looking MLO, this is just to demonstrate how to do it. First, what we're going to need to do is select our mesh, go to collision tools, create bounds, and turn off replace, and create a bound composite. Don't make an exact replica of your shell, so just rename it to something like this, _col, doesn't matter. And expand your hierarchy and go to the bound geometry BVH and go to collision tools, flag presets, and apply the default flag preset. Make sure you go to the materials of your collisions, remove the one that is automatically generated, and create one. And make sure you set the room ID. If you don't set the room ID, your MLO will be very buggy in game. Next, what we can do is go back to our world location, and we can remove the collisions. In this case, we're pretty lucky. We don't need to edit much. Now we can go back to our MLO, select the tutorial MLO shell, archetype definitions, and create a new archetype, or Y type, and rename it. Make sure it's turned to base and click auto create from selected when you select the top part of your hierarchy. Expand the archetype, make sure it's set properly. You can fill in the texture dictionary if you want. You can always do this later in CodeWalker, but it's best to just do it here. Next, select your collision, change it from base to MLO, and auto create. Next, what you can do is hide your shell and select your collision mesh and go to rooms and create 2 limbo rooms. Rename the second one to something different, doesn't have to be anything specific. But next, what we're going to do is expand the first limbo room a bit out from the front, just so it works properly. It doesn't have to be exact, something like that. Next, unhide your shell, select it, and go to entities. Make sure you have limbo selected as the room, and add selected. Now we can add a portal. Hide the shell again. Go into edit mode on your collision, and go to portals, and select each vertice around the entrance. And make sure you set the room from as your second room. This blue arrow indicates where the portal is facing. So in here is main, out here is limbo. So it would be main to limbo. Next, last thing we're going to do is make sure that all the faces are oriented the right way. To do so, go to top right here and click face orientation. As you can see, red means not going to render, so that it's good. This would be blue for you, but I've changed it so it just shows the texture. So this should be good. This should be good as well. Now we can go ahead and export everything. Select it all, export as XML, selected objects. Export as XML. Export. And now we can go into CodeWalker. So to make it properly work in CodeWalker, or just in general, you're going to go to your base GTA folder or your directory. I've already made a master file or folder for my mods, but you can just make one separate. But for example, I have 3D mods, and in each of them I have folders and RPFs. You don't need a DLC. What you can do is just go new RPF and just name it whatever, and then drag your XML files into there. Now we need to make the texture dictionary. To do so, what we can do is hide the collision, select this, go to materials, shading, and get the names of the textures being used so we can add them to the texture dictionary. Do is go ahead, I'll leave a link in the description, open up folders to YTD, open this, make sure it's set to .ytd. Wait, we need to put this in a folder real quick. So browse, go to where you put the textures, select the folder. You don't really need to mess with all this. Press convert, and it should save. As you can see, it's YTD. We can just rename this to whatever your shell name is. Now we can drag this into CodeWalker. As you can see, if you open it, the textures are all here. Now we can restart CodeWalker to make sure everything works properly. Now what we're going to need to do to place our MLO correctly is go to our location, go to scripting, copy this into this left window, and it'll give you the exact coordinates of where to put your entity in your YMap. What you can do is copy that location, go to YMap, select the YMap, new entity, paste, and we can go ahead and type in our name of our collision. Now we can go to select the YMap, calculate flags, calculate extents, save it to your stream folder. Once you've saved your YMap to your stream folder, make sure you copy all the files from your RPF Explorer to your stream folder as well. Make sure you generate a manifest as well for your YMap. So to do that, you're going to click on the YMap, go to Tools, Manifest Generator, Generate, and save the manifest. As you can see, our MLO is here.